You close the door. You're alone now. No one can see you, no one can hear you, and for the first time all day, nobody knows exactly what you're doing. That feeling is so ordinary, you've stopped noticing it. A locked door, a quiet room, a moment that belongs only to you. But for almost the entire span of human existence, that sentence would have been impossible. For roughly 300,000 years, being alone and unseen was not a luxury. It was rare, strange, and often a little dangerous. So, here's a question you've probably never asked. Did your ancestors have a private life at all? Not privacy in the legal sense. Not passwords or curtains or data. Something simpler. A space where you could exist without being watched by the people around you. The answer turns out to be stranger than you'd think. And it quietly changes what the word privacy even means. Start with the people who live closest to how humans lived for most of our history. The hoansi, sometimes called the Kung, foragers of the Kalahari Desert in southern Africa. In the 1960s, an anthropologist named Richard Lee went to live among them. He measured everything: how long they worked, what they ate, how they slept, how they arranged their camps. And the camps tell you something immediately. The huts are small, simple, and arranged in a tight circle, every doorway facing inward. From where you sit, you can see almost everyone, and almost everyone can see you. There are no walls thick enough to hide a conversation. No room you can disappear into. The hut is for storage and shelter from rain, not for secrets. Life happens outside, in the open center of the camp, in full view. Now think about what that means. You eat where others can see how much you took. You argue where others can hear. You raise your children in front of the whole group. Your body, your moods, your relationships, all of it is shared space. Could you live like that? Every day? Your whole life? The anthropologist Polly Weissner spent years recording what the hoansi actually talk about. During the day, the conversation is practical. Land, food, plans, complaints. But at night, around the fire, the talk changes. It becomes stories and gossip. Who did what? Who wronged whom? Who is behaving badly and who is behaving well? Weissner found that firelight talk was where the group kept track of each other. Reputations were built and destroyed in the glow of those flames. Everyone knew everyone's business, because knowing everyone's business was the entire point. This wasn't nosiness, it was survival. The anthropologist Christopher Baim studied dozens of forager societies and noticed something they almost all share. They are fiercely equal. No one is allowed to rise too far above the group, to hoard, to give orders, to act like a king. And how do you stop someone from becoming a tyrant when you have no police, no laws, no written rules? You watch them. Constantly. You talk about them. You mock the arrogant, shame the greedy, and quietly freeze out the cruel. Bohm called this a reverse dominance hierarchy. The group, watching together, holds power over any single person who tries to grab too much. Surveillance, in this world, was not oppression. It was freedom from tyranny. The psychologist Robin Dunbar argues this is partly why human language evolved at all. Not mainly to plan hunts or name tools, but to gossip. To track who is trustworthy and who is not across a group of around 150 people. Talking about each other is one of the oldest things our species does. So in this world, being unseen wasn't relaxing. It was suspicious. Why are you off alone? What are you doing? What are you taking that you don't want the rest of us to see? Let's reconstruct a single day inside it. You wake at dawn in a grass hut, your family beside you, the rest of the camp a few steps away. You hear children already awake, an elder coughing, someone laughing 2 huts over. You have never once in your life woken up truly alone. You walk to the center of camp. People see your face and read your mood instantly, because they have known your face since the day you were born. There is no version of you they have not already seen. You go out to gather food. Even then you move in a group, talking, scanning the horizon together. When you return, others see what you carry, and you see what they carry, and everything is shared out in the open, where no one can quietly keep more than their share. In the evening, you sit by the fire, and the stories begin. Your name comes up, maybe in praise, maybe in complaint. You cannot control what is said, but you will hear most of it, because the camp is small and the night is long. You fall asleep surrounded by breathing bodies, under the same sky as everyone you know. And tomorrow, it happens again. Now here's the part that flips everything. You probably imagine privacy as ancient and natural, a basic human need that modern life finally lets you satisfy. The truth is almost the reverse. Privacy, as you live it, is a recent invention, and we can actually watch it being built. Go to a place called Çatalhöyük in what is now Turkey. Around 9,000 years ago, it was one of the first large human settlements, home to thousands of people. The archaeologist Ian Hodder spent decades excavating it. What he found does not look like a town at all. There were no streets. The mud brick houses were packed wall to wall with no gaps between them. To enter your home, you climbed onto the roof and dropped down through a hole in the ceiling. People lived stacked against one another, walking across each other's rooftops to get anywhere. And the dead were buried right there, beneath the sleeping platforms, inside the house, under the very floor where you slept. Even early settled life had almost no concept of a private, separate household. You lived pressed against your neighbors and slept above your ancestors. The private room, the private home, the idea that a wall could fence off a piece of the world that belongs to you and no one else came slowly and came late. For most people in history, it arrived only in the last few centuries, with wealth, with cities, with separate bedrooms and doors that lock. And here is the strangest possibility of all. Some scholars argue that the inner private self, the sense that you carry a hidden interior world no one else can reach, was partly built by those walls. That solitude shaped a new way of being human. The more we could be alone, the more we grew a self that exists even when no one is looking, which raises an uncomfortable question about you. You live with more privacy than almost any human who has ever existed. Your own room, a door that locks, hours, sometimes whole days, when no one observes you at all. So why does so much of the modern world feel so lonely? The researchers who study foragers, like James Sussman, who lived for years among the Jew hoansi, describe something we have half forgotten. The constant visibility of camp life was not only a burden, it was also a kind of belonging. To be watched was to be known, and to be known was to never quite be alone. Your brain still runs on that ancient code. It was shaped across hundreds of thousands of years to expect a circle of faces who see you, track you, and notice the moment you go missing. Sarah Hrdy, who studies how humans raise children, has shown that even our infants evolved to be passed between many sets of hands, watched and held and fed by the whole group, never sealed off with a single parent behind a single door. And then, almost overnight, we built a world of private rooms and handed everyone the solitude our ancestors almost never had. Maybe that is why something strange is happening now. Given all this privacy, people are reaching back for the opposite. We broadcast our meals, our faces, our thoughts, our locations, to anyone who will look. We invite the watching back in. We seem to want, more than almost anything, to be seen. Your ancestors could not escape the eyes of the group. You can. And quietly, a part of you is not sure you ever wanted to. So close the door, sit in the quiet. You're alone now, truly alone, in a way that almost no human before you ever was. The only thing your ancestors would not understand is why you would ever want to be.